So now we're going to work through the single ball in the gastroc-soleus region. Now we want you to be aware that we're not totally where the footballer was in the soleus. We're actually a bit higher, really into the gastroc-soleus junction, just above there. So the programming here is 4-2-2. Okay, so now what we're going to do is position the body once again. The trainer needs to be aware of their body and the client needs to be aware of their body as well. So go ahead and extend the leg for me here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the center of the gastroc on top of the block, okay? Now what I'm going to actually do is I'm just going to go in and I'm going to position the ball right where it needs to go. Now look at the knee, look at the ankle, look at the foot. Those are milestones to make sure that the leg is straight through this process. Now, what I'm going to do as a trainer, I'm first going to apply my hand right here so that I can add pressure to the ball. Now, what I'd like you to do is take a deep breath for me and release. That brings the oxygen to the area. Now, deep breath, release, come up with the foot. Deep breath, release, slap it down. That's one. I don't want you to control the foot, just slap it down. Deep breath, release, up with the foot. Deep breath, release, slap it down. That's two. Now deep breath, release, come up with a foot. Deep breath, slap it down, that's three. And one more, deep breath, come up with a foot. And release, slap it down, that's four. Now what does the programming say? We're gonna rotate the foot 2 times to the left, very passively. 2 times to the right. Now that's a perfect job. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take my hands off the body and you're gonna apply pressure with your own body weight. So what I'd like you to do is bring me your opposite leg. We're gonna position it right where my hand was, okay? Now what I wanna show you, now that I have you in this position, is we're gonna internally rotate the leg so that the ball can go to the outside. So this is the movement. We're gonna shift the leg inward and we're gonna allow the ball to rotate outward, okay? So now what I'd like you to do is go through that right there. Perfect, it's gonna be a little tender. Now what I'd like you to do is go through the programming once again, okay? So I stand here, I watch you, deep breath, come up with a foot, and release and slap it down, that's one. Deep breath, come up with a foot, and release and slap it down, that's two. Deep breath, come up with a foot, and release and slap it down, that's three. We got one more. Deep breath, come up with a foot, and release and slap it down, that's four. Now the programming says 2 rotations to the left. Perfect. 2 rotations to the right. That's a perfect job. Now here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna have you rotate your leg inward this time. With the external, we shift. Now we're gonna rotate the leg inward, so I need a small bend into the knee through this process. So we're gonna rotate the leg inward. We're gonna put that small little bend into the knee right there so that the ball doesn't pop out. Okay, keeping the constant compression here, we're gonna go through this programming one more time. So deep breath, come up with a foot, and release and slap it down, that's one. Deep breath, come up with a foot, and release, slap it down, that's two. Deep breath, come up with a foot, and release and slap it down, that's three. We got one more. Deep breath, come up with that foot, and release and slap it down, that's four. Now we've got 2 rotations to the left, 2 rotations to the right. I want you to identify with the way that his body's positioned. That's a perfect job. Now let's go ahead and stand up and get the reveal. Okay, so now we're gonna go through the reveal of working through the single ball in the gastroc-soleus region. Now what I'd like you to do is go ahead and balance on that left leg for me. Once again, what I want you to see here is where we're loading the actual foot. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the opposite side. And what you can really identify with here is how long his foot's staying on the ground and how the heel has to really go into the ground to create stabilization. Now what I'd like you to do is go ahead and run in place for me. Great running form, but watch this. I'll go ahead and speed it up for me. Look how fast the left leg is moving through the process, and look how slow the right leg is moving through the process. So what that means is The faster the foot's hitting the ground, the faster the body's moving. You can go ahead and stop for me. Now that's the reveal for using the single ball in the gastroc region.